All right, well, let's finish up our ELA review from the benchmark that we took before Thanksgiving break. And today we're looking at a standard that deals with the characters in the story. The characters are, I think, some of the best parts of the story because we can really learn a lot about a character. Sometimes we see ourselves in a character. Sometimes we think, why in the world is a character doing that? But the characters' actions and all about them really make the story interesting. And so this standard says describe in depth a character, a setting, or an event in a story or drama, drawing on specific details in a text, such as a character's thoughts, words, or action. Of course, I know you know that the characters are the people in the story. And so we look at what the character does, what they think, what they say in a story to tell us more about the character. That way we can describe the character. You had two questions on the benchmark about describing a character, and it's kind of hard to go back and look at how you found these answers, but we'll talk about them because we can't read both whole stories and then show why this is the right answer. But you read them, I hope, so hopefully you'll remember. And the question said, which two choices tell how the speaker and Elizabeth Wigglesworth are the same? Okay, so Elizabeth Wigglesworth, remember, this is from that poem about the girl who tried to remember what 9 times 6 was, that 54, named her doll 54. And then Elizabeth Wigglesworth is the girl that thought she always acted so proud, but she said 6 times 9 was 52. So the question says, and it's just a short little poem, but how are the speaker and Elizabeth the same? And the correct answers were they both think they know the correct answer, and they both say the wrong answer. So in the poem, the speaker, remember, had worked so hard on learning 6 times 9 is 54, but she thinks she knows the right answer, but she says the wrong answer. She says Mary M, her doll's name, and Elizabeth Wigglesworth probably says 52, and that's the wrong answer. So they both think they're right, but they're both wrong. The poem did not say anything about Elizabeth Wigglesworth having dolls, so we can't choose that one. They're both embarrassed in class. Well, they might have been. You might have chose that one, but the story does not tell us they were embarrassed, does it? So we need to make sure we can only choose answers that we can prove. They both want to answer the question first. It didn't say anything about that in the poem. So, yeah, these are the right answers. They both think they know the right answer, but they both say the wrong answer. The next question is about the peddler, the peddler story in the benchmark. And so it's a long, long story, but we're just going to take a look at the question because this is another question about a character. How does the peddler change during his time at London Bridge? So something happens to the peddler that makes him change. So sometimes in a story, the characters have an event that happens to them that changes them in some way. And so the answer to this question was, the peddler was curious about what news he might learn at the bridge, but then he was eager to get home to see if the news he had heard was true. So that's how he changed. That's just an event from the story that actually happened to the peddler. So you have to really read the story. You have to read every little part of the story. You have to think about the character and think about what events actually happened to him, how he acted. He was curious about the news at the bridge, but then he was eager to get home to see if it was true. So this is something that happened to the peddler in the story. So you've got to read carefully and think about those characters. Now, I'm going to keep it short today. It's Friday, and you've learned a lot this week, reviewed a lot this week. So we're going to take first off a look at a little lesson on characters. And in this character lesson, it's going to be about Piglet. If you ever watch Winnie the Pooh, you know who Piglet is, I'm sure. And this lesson is neat because it talks about two ways that you can describe characters. You can describe them from the outside, just what they look like. Piglet's pink. He's got a striped shirt. He's got big ears. But then you can also tell what a character's like on the inside, and that's how not what's on the inside of them, like inside their belly, but it is more like what's their personality like. Are they a nice person? Are they a mean person? And so that's two ways that we can describe a character. And it goes in more depth. And so I want you to watch that. And then I want you to see, well, I started the video. Hang on.
Hey friends, today's lesson is all about describing characters.
I have done that every day this week, I think.
Hey friends, today's lesson is all about describing.
Okay, give me 1 second and I'll get it going here. There we go. Okay, then the last thing you're going to do today is you're going to read a story called The Coal Thief. Or you listen to the story. And I want you to listen closely to the details about this character right here in the story. His name is Georgie. And I'll just give you some background before you listen to it. Georgie has a very poor family. They don't even have any coal for the fire. So their family is so cold. He's freezing every morning, he tells his mama. And he has a friend, not really a good friend, and he takes him to a train and they steal coal from the train. But I'm not going to tell you the whole story because something happens in the story that changes the coal thief. And he turns from a coal thief into a coal giver. But I don't want to give the story away. So I want you to listen to it. I want you to think about the character Georgie in the story. Think about how you would describe him. Think about the words you would use to describe Georgie. Think about how he changes in the story and where his focus is. So think about that. And as we talk today, as we work today on being able to describe characters, okay? I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you back next week.